It's a jungle hollow to start here. Thompson with a Mystic Monastery. It's game number 3 between these two players is underway. There's a Herald of the Pantheon.
Okay, exciting.
Another new card from Magic Origins.
Action, yep. There's a lot of potential Constellation enablers in the set.
Oh, absolutely. No, this is a card that people are excited about because I know there are a lot of people who are fans of Constellation. Wild Slash took care of that, but enchantment spells you cast cost 1 less to play. Whenever you cast an enchantment, you gain a life. So it's kind of like an Enchantress, kind of not. As now we've got Crewfix's Insight. Thompson going to sacrifice the fetch land while this is resolving. So 6 cards will be turned over. Farika and Courser will be added to the grip. So this is, again, like a Commune with the Gods-esque card, but it's a little more expensive, but you can get 2 cards.
Yeah, the upshot is sometimes it gets to be divination.
Yeah.
With selection.
Thompson will draw. And there's a Soulfire Grandmaster. Shivan Reef was the land for the turn. See what Isley has to do on his 4th turn of the game is take a look at the graveyard. We know he's got a Farika and of course a Crewfix in hand. Unclear what the other options are at this point, however. Looks like he'll go with Courser. Take a look at the top card. It's another copy of Jungle Hollow. Play Llanowar Waste here. Just pass the turn back. Surprising not to see him play the land off the top.
It would almost just have to be Murderous Cut.
Sure.
And if that's the case, I would have preferred for Ross to just do it straight away, because Gerry's smart enough to know that's what's going on, and he's not going to do anything stupid in the face of Murderous Cut, and he might be able to get you on his own turn if he has some sort of answer to a Murderous Cut.
Here is a Forest. Take a look at the top card. It's a copy of Doomwake Giant. Been a little while, since we've seen a Constellation deck. Of course, you're going to come into the red zone. Thompson will take 2.
And this is a really great matchup for Ojutai's Command.
Oh, yeah.
Ross has just a lot of 4 and 5 mana creatures.
Eidolon of Blossoms, Doomwake Giant, some really clunky stuff. Just pass the turn back for now. Thompson going to sacrifice his Flooded Strand. With that on the stack, we might have a Murderous Cut. We'll see. It's actually going to be a copy of Boon Satyr. While Gerry does not have 4 mana available, so Ojutai's Command doesn't work its way into the equation.
Yeah, sharp sequencing there for Ross.
Yep.
Is aware of Ojutai's Command and waits for Gerry to have the shields down.
It has been confirmed Geometry did have proofs.
Yeah.
Thank you, Twitter. I know I
think that's
wasn't
just
crazy.
common in mathematics. I don't think that's just a function of geometry.
There's a Harbinger of the Tides. That's here to bounce Courser of Crewfix. In the meantime, Ross is going to play a Murderous Cut. And that's going to take care of that Soulfire Grandmaster. There's land number 5, which is a Shivan Reef for Thompson.
And now I wonder if Gerry shifts gears because he's so perceptive on these little things. He knows from that fetch land situation last turn, Ross is playing around Ojutai's Command. So does Gerry do some more proactive stuff instead of leaning on Ojutai's Command when it's a card that's on Ross's radar?
You saw Gerry stop Ross very quickly from turning over his next card because he thought he might have Courser in play, but he didn't. So,
good guy, Gerry Thompson.
Indeed.
10 years ago, he would have buried this dude on that. But now, priorities and perspective a little bit different.
Older and wiser.
Yep.
And a lover of animals.
Mm-hmm. Happens to all of us eventually.
Yeah, I know. I'm not there yet, but I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
You will.
I know.
Just give it time.
I know. I'll have a corgi in no time. Here's Farika. That one's actually pretty good against Ojutai's Command, too. Can remove the creature it wants to bring back.
Mm-hmm.
Not to give your opponent a snake, but It's all part of it. And Gerry says, I'm not going to let that resolve. I'll counter that and draw a card. Little dismiss action.
And part of the reason is that, you know, Gerry knows that Ross is aware of Ochiai's command. So this is about as good as it's going to get.
Another jungle hollow here. But countering a Freaka, at least on the surface, feels like it's pretty good.
Yeah, I'm sure Jerry's happy about it, but I think it almost doesn't matter what Ross produces. If it's anything at all reasonable, Gerry needs to cast that Ochiai's command because of the fetch land sequence from a couple turns ago.
Soulfire Grandmaster the draw here for Thompson. Here comes the Harbinger. Soulfire Grandmaster, pass the turn back.
I love watching these flash decks in action when they're played by someone good, because it's so hard to be on the other side of it.
Yeah.
If you're in Ross's seat right now, think of all the cards you have to play around. Very challenging to do.
I love the tension that has come along with Harbinger of the Tides and Ochiai's command. It's one of the things I always loved about Fairies, even though I never played the deck, is when they had 4 mana, you had to play on Cryptic Command, you had to play on Mistbind Click, and then everything else.
Right.
Now it's just like, well, am I supposed to attack? I can get Harbingered. Am I supposed to cast a spell pre-combat? I can get Ochiai's command. There's a lot of things that can go wrong. Here's Courser. Top card of the deck is Herald of the Pantheon. Here comes Boonsatyr. A trade. Thompson will gain 2 life. And now here is Krufix's Insight again. So a couple of cards can be shown over here. Brain Maggot among them. Here are the top 6 cards. Put up to 3 enchantment cards from among them into your hand. The rest into your graveyard. So you can take a lot of cards with that thing. Here's Dig Through Time. And that's the other thing that makes it really difficult, because Ross may have been playing around the 2 cards that we talked about and not playing around Dig Through Time. Maybe he would have been a little bit more aggressive with what he cast had he known that Gerry's only spell was Dig Through Time.
Exactly. Well, I'll sit here and I'm not going to play too hard into Ochiai's command. I'm going to draw some cards and set up shop a little bit. And that line of play looks a lot worse in the face of Gerry resolving Dig Through Time.
Time to untap. Thompson will take a draw. He's done resolving Dig Through Time. And now here's Jace with mana at the ready. Of course, there have Krufix on top of the deck. It doesn't appear that Ross is in 2 spell per turn territory just yet. He's getting close. Doomwake Giant plus X, for example. Here's Brain Maggot to try to clear the path. Thompson's going to play Ochiai's command on that. He'll counter and draw a card. Anger of the Gods is what he's found. The follow-up might be an Eidolon of Blossoms. Looks like Courser's going to attack first. And now here's Eidolon. Draw the Courser. Top card of the deck is another Eidolon. Thompson will untap. He'll take a draw step here. Picked up a copy of Lightning Strike. 4 cards in the graveyard. So with the Jace activation, it will flip, it appears.
Nice thing about these Planeswalkers, they play really well with sweepers.
Yeah, they really do. Anger of
Flip
the
them
Gods.
over and then they're no longer a creature.
Here comes the Harbinger. Isley going to go down to 20. Now Jace activation, draw a card. Temple of Epiphany. Discard. Jace flips. Its spark has been ignited. Now Courser will have -2/-0. There's a Temple. Take a look at the top card. Going to become the bottom card. Eidolon on top of the deck yet again. A lot of spells here in Ross's hand.
Yeah, I mean, this has been a challenging game for Gerry to play thus far because Ross can hang around in terms of the card advantage battle, and a lot of Gerry's, small creatures just aren't worth very much. Ross brings a lot of power to the table, and cards like Courser, Crufix do a lot to gum up the works.
And there's another Courser. That'll draw a card because it's an enchantment. There's Eidolon on the battlefield. Now a land. 2 triggers from the Coursers. We'll have to see that top card since Courser's on the battlefield. That's a Boon Satyr. Here's 4 mana. Another Eidolon. Two cards coming. Boon Satyr Forest. Top card, Hero's Downfall. Ross drawing a lot of cards this game. Here comes Eidolon. Jace down to 4. Thompson will untap, he'll take a draw. Picked up a copy of Wild Slash. Here comes the Harbinger. Courser looks like it's going to reluctantly block it. Nope. Thompson will sneak in 2 points of damage. This is an Anger of the Gods. Time to flash something back. It'll be Anger of the Gods. Clear away the Coursers, clear away the board. Now we'll see if he wants to play the Soulfire Grandmaster or not. Looks like no. I think what Thompson wants to do here is play Soulfire Grandmaster, activate it, and then cast a spell on the same turn.
Yeah, right now, he's kind of down on cards. You can see Ross has an entirely full hand.
Yep.
And so Gerry can't just have stuff die for no value. And if Ross went, Doomwave Giant, another enchantment, your Soulfire Grandmaster dies for no value. Gerry can't handle any more of those kind of exchanges because he's already pretty far behind in terms of cards.
Here's 4 mana. Perhaps another Eidolon on the way? Yep. Ross will draw. Found another Doomwave Giant. Doomwave Giant's a hard card, for Jeskai to deal with. Any builds it. 6 toughness a lot.
Yeah. You have Ojutai's Command and you have Valorous Stance in some builds, but it's not easy to get off the table.
And Valor Stance to draw. And that's a Soulfire Grandmaster. And Jace will take up. Looks like it'll go after the Eidolon. Hero's Downfall is going to go after Jace. Maybe. Looks like it's going to go after Soulfire Grandmaster.
This is a reasonable opportunity for Gerry here to have a free removal spell to rebuy if he so chooses. Looks like he's electing not to.
Yeah, it's interesting on how he wants to use the Soulfire Grandmaster there, if he wants to use it all, because one other interesting sequence he can have is activate and then Valor Stance to save his creature and get it back. And that forces Ross to have multiple removal spells. But we know he has no shortage of removal spells because he has multiple copies of Doomwave Giant in hand, so. Again, a difficult situation here for Thompson. And Isley has navigated this game very well to get to this point. Now he's got a Herald of the Pantheon. So the enchantments are going to get cheaper. Here's a Courser. It only costs 2 now. Wild Slash is going to take your Eidolon of Blossoms with Courser on the stack. Here's 4 mana. There's a Boon Satyr. That only costs 4 mana because of Herald.
Pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Nice sequencing here by Ross.
For sure. Lightning Strike will have to go after the Eidolon. So now Thompson had to use 2 cards to stop Ross from drawing 1.
And Ross still played a bunch of cards this turn, still has a lot left over.
Looks like Courser's in, so top card will have to be revealed for Isley. We'll make sure that gets done.
And Gerry is just getting worn out in this game.
Oh, yeah.
It's not any one particular card or any one particular sequence that Ross has had. It's just been a lot of small exchanges. Usually in games like this, you can point to one turn or one sequence, and that hasn't been this way at all. Ross
It's
is
just getting worn down.
slowly but surely chipped away at all of Gerry's resources.
Crewfux's Inside has drawn multiple cards. Eidolons have drawn multiple cards. Coursers have drawn lands to make sure that Ross is always drawing business. You saw the exchange with the Boonsader there. That cost multiple cards. Eventually, Thompson's just going to run out of them. Lightning Strike will go there. And Valor Stance will go up to Courser. Got to keep that Jace alive. There's Nykthos. Let's see what the follow-up is. Doomway Giant.
I think he may have overpaid.
Yep.
Not that it matters, but
Yeah, in this instance, they can only cost 4, not 5. But he's able to play 2 and pass the turn back. So, Thompson will draw. And Jace with 3 counters on it. Don't have a great look at his graveyard. You do wonder if there's anything worth flashing back. At the very least, we know there's a Valorant Stance. I believe there's also a Dig Through Time down there.
I almost feel like you just got to get Dig Through Time back in this spot, because 1-for-1 exchanges are not cutting it.
Yeah.
Unless he feels like he can defend himself long enough to get a draw out of this.
Well, it's turn 0 now. So Thompson has turns 0, 2, and 4. Ross Isley has turns 1, 3, and 5. Going to cash in the Jace. Will Thompson. See what he wants to flash back here. Feels like probably a Dig Through Time. Yep.
Yeah.
Delve away a bunch of cards here, of course. So there goes 6 cards, which means Thompson gets to look at the top 7 and select 2 of them.
Gerry with 2 copies of End Hostilities in his deck. Not sure if those got brought in.
Looks like he's found 2 cards that he's happy with. Looks like another Dig Through Time and an Ochitais Command. He'll untap. Turn 1 here is Ross Isley's. He'll draw cards, copy Llanowar Ways. In a weird way, it almost feels like if Thompson can get rid of this wave of creatures, Ross will be the one out of cards. Here come the Doomway Giants.
With some sort of sweeper, yeah.
Yeah. 8 damage going to come across. Thompson down to 7. There's Llanowar Ways. See if it's time for another Doomway Giant. Here's Dig Through Time. Thompson will delve away a couple of cards before moving to turn 2 of extra turns. Mantis Rider among the options. Doesn't look like he has interest in that one, though.
And Gerry needs removals or sweeper.
Yep. Turn 2. Lightning Strike. Can't win the game, but he can try to hold on for a draw. Harbinger of the Tides looks pretty good here. 2 mana, pick that up. You know, we've talked about all the new cards that we've seen. This is the first time we've seen that one. That card is no joke.
Wait till we get to Modern.
No. No, thank you. Courser of Crewfix. Only costs 2, gain a life. Will this resolve? Valor Stance going to take care of Doomway Giant.
Remember, Ross past this turn only gets 1 more attack.
Yep. He's got to build up some sort of board. Here's a Forest. That'll trigger the Courser.
And Ross had the ability last turn to play another Doomway Giant, and I think did not because, well, I'm worried about end hostilities or some other sweeper here, maybe something like Elspeth, and I just want to hang back. But Gerry instead found a bunch of spot removal spells, and now Ross might be short of being able to attack for lethal, and that's the challenge of playing against decks like Flash, where it's hard to play around everything.
Disdainful Stroke will take care of that Doomway Giant. Now it looks like there's another Doomway Giant, on the way. So there that is. Isley will gain a life, of course, because Herald of the Pantheon is 26.
But Gerry's at 6 with the ability to go up to 10 with Ochitai's command, and Ross has only got 8 points of power in play.
Lightning Strike will take care of the Herald of the Pantheon.
6 points of power in play.
Yep. Turn 4. Oh, Elspeth was the draw. Wow. Boy, this game would have been interesting to see how this one would have concluded.
Yeah, it looked like Gerry was just holding on for the draw, and I think that's going to be the resolution here, but I'm not so sure he wouldn't have been able to win this thing with a little bit more time.
Top card of the deck is Temple of Malady. Nothing short about the matchup, that's for sure. There's 5 mana. That's going to get countered. Yeah, Ochitai's command is going to counter that. Can't let that resolve. I believe it was a Herald of Torment that was being bestowed. There's a Temple. Top card goes to the bottom. Book of Erebos on top. That would have made this game different now, too.
Yeah.
Who knows how this would have ended up. There's a block, and it's going to be a draw for these 2 players. That's all they can do. Match is going to take a really long time between them. Both are, kind of aggressive, but kind of slow, and both have a ton of card advantage engines. At the end of the day, they're not able to finish. So Gerry Thompson and Ross Isley, they will draw. Both of them move down to 5-1-1, and given the nature of this tournament, they can't lose again.